Have you ever been so angry you wanted to scream? So consumed by rage that you felt like you might just explode? What if I told you there's a tradition, an ancient ritual, that channels that fiery energy not into destruction, but into an almost supernatural calm? Today, we raid diving deep into the icy waters of a practice that samurai warriors used to master their emotions. This is the story of Misogi. Imagine a warrior, their mind a storm of frustration and fury after a grueling battle or a personal slight. But instead of drawing their sword or letting out a war cry, they walk towards the raw, untamed power of nature. They find a waterfall, a torrent of freezing, crystal-clear water crashing down from the heavens. They step into it, letting the sheer force and biting cold wash over them, not just cleaning their bodies, but purifying their very spirit. This is Misogi, the Shinto ritual of purification. It's a practice where they didn't shout, they let the water scream for them. This wasn't just about getting clean. For the samurai and Shinto practitioners, Misogi was a profound spiritual discipline. It was about confronting hardship head-on. As the glacial water hits, every muscle tenses. The instinct is to run, to escape the shock and the pain. But they stood their ground. Each icy drop was a lesson in discipline, a whisper to endure. Each ragged, desperate breath was an act of surrender, not to the anger, but to the present moment, to the overwhelming power of nature that dwarfs any personal turmoil. They weren't just standing underwater. They were standing in a crucible, forging resilience, patience, and an unbreakable inner peace. In Shintoism, the concept of kegari, or impurity, is central. Kegari isn't just physical dirt. It's a spiritual defilement that can accumulate through contact with negative events, emotions like anger, or even just the daily grind of life. It is seen as a kind of spiritual rust that dulls the spirit and separates you from the kami, the divine spirits of nature. Misogi is the ultimate reset button. By immersing oneself in the pure, life-giving element of water, practitioners believe they can wash away this kegari, restoring their original purity and reconnecting with the divine. It's a symbolic rebirth, emerging from the water cleansed, renewed, and spiritually realigned. Think about the sheer mental fortitude this requires. To willingly subject yourself to such an intense physical shock demands a level of self-control that is almost superhuman. The initial moments under the waterfall are a battle. Your body is screaming, your mind is racing, telling you this is dangerous, that you need to get out. This is where the training kicks in. Practitioners often chant or focus on their breath, using these anchors to pull their awareness away from the panic and into a state of deep concentration. It's in this struggle that the transformation happens. The anger, the frustration, that internal fire that was burning you up, it's no match for the all-consuming reality of the freezing water. The small, personal anger is extinguished by the vast, impersonal power of the waterfall. What's fascinating is how this ancient spiritual practice is now being validated by modern science. We might not talk about kegari in a lab, but we do talk about the nervous system. When you're angry or stressed, your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, goes into overdrive. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, and your mind races. What does a sudden, intense blast of cold water do? It triggers a powerful physiological response. Scientists call it a nervous system reset. The initial shock of the cold water activates that same fight or flight response, but in a controlled, deliberate way. Then, as you force yourself to breathe calmly and endure, you engage your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. You are actively training your body and mind to find calm in the midst of chaos. This process, over time, can fundamentally change your response to stress. You're building a stronger, more resilient nervous system. Instead of being hijacked by your anger, you learn to observe it, acknowledge it, and let it pass just like the water flowing over you. The benefits don't stop there. Research into cold exposure has exploded in recent years. It's been shown to significantly reduce inflammation throughout the body, which is linked to a host of chronic diseases and even mental health issues. That's right, cooling your body can literally cool down the fires of inflammation. It also triggers the release of norepinephrine, a hormone and neurotransmitter that sharpens focus, improves mood, and makes you feel alert and alive. So when those samurai emerged from the waterfall, they weren't just calmer, they were likely more focused, clear-headed, and ready for whatever came next. They were biohacking before the term even existed. But let's bring this back to the core idea, anger. In our modern world, how do we deal with it? We might yell, punch a pillow, vent on social media, or bottle it up until it makes us sick. The samurai's approach was radically different. They didn't break things to release their anger. They stood still and let nature's roar overpower their own internal noise. They found strength not in lashing out, but in standing firm. There's a profound lesson in this. It suggests that true mastery over emotion doesn't come from expressing it wildly, but from learning to endure and transform it. The waterfall, in this sense, becomes a teacher. It teaches that you are small, but you are also resilient. It teaches that discomfort is temporary. It teaches that the most powerful force for change isn't a violent outburst, but a steady, persistent flow. The samurai weren't trying to defeat the waterfall. They were learning from it, synchronizing with its rhythm, and in doing so, finding their own center. It's a beautiful metaphor for emotional regulation. Don't fight the wave of anger, learn to ride it. This practice of Misogi continues in Japan today. People from all walks of life travel to sacred waterfalls and shrines to perform this ritual, seeking purification, clarity, or the strength to overcome a personal challenge. It's a testament to the enduring power of this idea that through voluntary hardship, through a conscious and respectful engagement with the raw power of nature, we can cleanse our minds and fortify our spirits. We can wash away the noise of modern life and find that quiet, powerful place within ourselves. So the next time you feel that fire of anger rising inside you, remember the image of the warrior under the waterfall. You don't have to find a freezing cascade, though a cold shower might do more good than you think. The principle remains the same. Instead of letting the anger control you, find a way to ground yourself. Take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Acknowledge the feeling without becoming it. They didn't destroy things to find peace. Their calm was carved through ice. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the heart of samurai wisdom. If you found this fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the cultures that shape our world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. How do you handle anger? Let's continue the conversation. Until next time, stay curious.